Welcome back to the Save It for Parts channel. We're here at University of Minnesota ReUse, or the U of M surplus store, and we're going to just take a quick look inside. This is a video I've been trying to do for a while, and the U of M bureaucracy has been kind of dragging their heels on it. They wanted a bunch of money. They wanted me to jump through a bunch of legal hoops or the official behind-the-scenes tour, and it's really kind of too complicated for me to do that right now. But I was just told if I just want to walk around and film the place as a shopper at the University ReUse store, that is perfectly fine. So this place is out in kind of a weird industrial wasteland in between the two twin cities. It's right in between Minneapolis and St. Paul. And one of the issues here has always been parking. They have about 5 pay spots, and that's always full. It's never quite enough. But recently they opened up parking over here, so now there is more parking available for shoppers, so that's a good thing. Whenever I do videos about Axeman Surplus or Free Geek or other local surplus stores, people always ask in the comments, where can I find one of these stores near me? Why doesn't my town have a cool surplus store? And it turns out a lot of towns and cities do. You just have to check your local university system, because universities, especially publicly funded universities, are usually required to sell surplus property. They can't just throw it away. They can't just give it away to students or faculty, although a lot of them will just leave stuff in random hallways and back alleys and hope that the student population makes it disappear. Big publicly funded institutions like the University of Minnesota have an official surplus, or in this case, reuse program, and they have this reuse warehouse. So everything that is no longer needed by the university ends up here. Everything from furniture, lab equipment, electronics, textbooks, office supplies, printer ink, cleaning supplies, even bicycles that get abandoned on campus. Everything that the university ends up with basically goes to this warehouse to get sorted out. Some of it ends up sold to other departments within the university system. Some of it gets broken down for scrap metal. Some of it gets wiped and salvaged, like computer hardware. They'll wipe or remove the hard drives whenever possible. But then all of the stuff that they can't reuse within the university system or sell for scrap metal gets offered for sale back to the public. So you end up with this giant, very messy, only slightly organized warehouse full of stuff. And it is a lot of stuff. There is junk everywhere. There are really interesting things all over every shelf. You can find really unique things like university awards, signs for different departments, custom one-off science experiments. You can find things made by students. You can find things built for university departments that no longer exist. You can find things that cost tens of thousands of dollars to the university system when new, and now they're just $100 or maybe even less. One thing that's cool about U of M ReUse is that they do try to get everything moved out. They will usually start out at one price, and if something doesn't sell after so many weeks of sitting around the warehouse, it will go to a lower price. And they have kind of a rotating colored tag system for this. It's not the easiest to understand, but if you take a picture of their tag system when you walk in the door, you can kind of figure out which color tag has which discount at the moment. There are some newer things that don't have any discounts, and then by the time it's sat around for something like 7 weeks, it ends up at about an 80% discount. And apparently, if it's sat even longer than that, you can just offer them a price or start bartering, and they might just give it to you for a few dollars. Now, this does mean that good stuff tends to vanish sooner, because if somebody is really interested in it and is willing to pay the higher price, they'll take it when it comes into the warehouse. So if you see something that you really, really want, you can't just wait around a few weeks and hope that it will drop in price. You might need to just grab it when you see it. However, it can also be a good technique to come here and just look for the lowest price tags. I have definitely found handheld radios that way. I have found other electronic stuff. I have found really interesting things that have basically just been sitting here wasting away. Nobody wanted it, and I ended up getting it for a couple bucks. They do also sell things by the pound, especially things like e-waste, computers that have been pretty well stripped out already, things like random electronics, broken electronics. I've definitely gotten cameras, I've gotten security equipment, I've gotten random bits and pieces that were basically just sold by the pound, because either they don't know what it is, they don't want to deal with it, or they know it's broken, but they can't quite justify throwing it away. That's kind of like everything that's already in my garage. Now, the University Reuse Department also has some item-specific sales on occasion, especially bicycles. I believe once or twice a year they will sell off bicycles. They also do an annual textile sale, so all kinds of rolls of fabric. Now, University Reuse Warehouse is only open a couple days a week, and their dates and times can change a little bit depending on university holidays. So the best way to find their current dates are to go to their Facebook page. And you can also find pictures of some of their recent finds, and some of the more interesting stuff shows up on Facebook sometimes. So if you're looking for something or just want to see what's in the warehouse before you go over there, check their Facebook page. They do have a website, but I don't think they update that quite as often. This place is fantastic. It is really a sensory overload coming in here, and I basically have to walk up and down each aisle multiple times to even begin to see what's here. It is super easy to miss things in all the clutter. It is super easy to overlook small, interesting objects, even big, interesting objects, because it is just so busy. It is a very target-rich environment for someone like me who enjoys hoarding and enjoys creative reuse of old junk. So if you are in the Twin Cities area, check out U of M ReUse. And if you live somewhere else in the US, somewhere else in the world with a university system, a college, even public school districts often have something like this. If they're a big enough school district, state surplus warehouses exist that are along these lines as well. When I lived up in Alaska, we had a state surplus warehouse in Juneau that was quite a bit similar to this. There was a University of Alaska reuse system that had warehouses on most of the campuses. And if you were willing to track down the weird hours that they're open, you could find all kinds of interesting junk at those. I hope everyone has enjoyed this quick look through University ReUse. I will put some links down below to their website and their Facebook page if you want to check them out for yourself. All right, so that was just a quick look inside U of M Surplus. You can kind of get an idea for just how much stuff is in there. It's actually way more than that. I get super overloaded every time I go in here. It's just complete sensory overload. I can't see half the stuff, much less make purchasing decisions. There's just too much. I did end up getting something. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it looks cool. So yeah, that is U of M ReUse. If you want to see some of the weird stuff that I've found and repurposed from University ReUse and other local surplus stores, you can check out some of my other videos. Thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.